As the pressure to electrify buildings to achieve climate targets increases, geothermal offers an attractive option for developers. Geothermal eliminates on-site carbon emissions while dramatically reducing a building's energy consumption. It also removes the need for rooftop mechanical equipment, making room for amenities or more saleable space. While the benefits of geothermal are exceptional, installing and managing a geothermal system is not as simple as it may seem. A common misconception is that if the borefield is sized properly and the driller does a good job of installing the pipes, the geothermal system will perform for the life of the building. Unfortunately, this is not true. In many cases, a geothermal borefield is designed based on the building's peak heating and cooling loads. The problem with this method is that it's sort of like sizing a car's fuel tank based on how much power it has, rather than how far you want to travel. The proper way to design a geothermal borefield is to accommodate the building's annual heating and cooling needs, not just the peak. Once the borefield is designed and installed properly, you're only halfway there. It still needs to perform long term. A geothermal borefield uses the ground as a large thermal battery, where in the summer, the building's heat is stored. Then in the winter, that heat is extracted to be used to heat the building. Storing energy in a geothermal borefield is much like pouring water into a bucket. If you don't properly manage the amount of water going in and taken out, the bucket will either overflow or become empty. Buildings rarely have naturally balanced heating and cooling loads, and if the borefield is left unattended, it will either freeze or overheat. A geothermal borefield needs to be constantly monitored. Even if you can interpret the borefield's temperature data, the real challenge is knowing what adjustments to make, when to make them, and how to do it. The temperatures that may seem normal could be a sign of future problems. The key is to act early when changes are simple and inexpensive versus later when the proper solution would be complicated and costly. There are generally two schools of thought on how to design a geothermal system to properly manage a potential energy imbalance. Install a cooling tower and boiler to augment the borefield. This may sound like the right approach, but it often results in a more complicated system with higher construction and operating costs and undermines the original carbon and energy reduction targets. A better approach, integrate the geothermal system with the equipment you already need for the building. For example, connecting the borefield to the parkade ramp snowmelt system allows the operator to reject excess heat and keep the borefield at the right temperature. As you can see, there is a lot involved in ensuring the long-term performance of your geothermal borefield. It is critical to partner with a geothermal firm that has significant experience in designing, installing, and managing geothermal systems. With over 30 years of experience, Diverso Energy has the knowledge and expertise to design, construct, and manage the geothermal system for your project.